Well, joining us now is Mr. Jitendra Bhargav, the former Executive Director of Air India. Mr. Bhargav, I guess the simple question is, should Air India be doing this?
You see, let's look at this way. It is not that Air India is doing it. The government of India, in its capacity as the owner of Air India, has taken a decision that former secretaries and their immediate family members will get a free upgrade on Air India. Now, Air India, being an airline owned by the government, will have to comply with it.
Well, obviously the airline has to comply if it's a government order, but, then the government is setting a bad example and taxpayers are the ones who will end up paying for it.
You see, let's look what happened in 2007 when Air India was inducting its new aircraft, launching its non-stop flights. The board of Air India took a very conscious decision that the chairman of Air India, the directors of Air India, the executive directors of Air India who were entitled to first-class travel will no longer undertake travel by first class. They will in fact forego. And all directors and executive directors willingly agreed because they felt if a passenger who's paying 4.5 lakh rupees or upwards for going to New York feels that her freeloader is traveling next to him and therefore he should not be traveling by Air India, the airline executives just gave it away. Now, if secretaries are going to be traveling, former secretaries are going to be traveling by first class after being upgraded from the economy class or the lowest ticket that they may have bought, naturally there will be a demand from all those people in Air India who had foregone, which includes the executive directors, the pilots of Air India, the functional directors of Air India, and even general managers who are entitled otherwise.
Mr. Bhargav, the Civil Aviation Ministry says that, this is going to be done on an availability basis and therefore there's not going to be any financial loss. Of course, in India, we know, nudge, nudge, wink, wink, people still get away with it. There'll be pressure on the airline to get those upgrades. Anyway, people could be bumped off those first class seats even if, they've paid the full price. So what kind of costs are we looking at? I mean, this is going to cost the airline then at the end of the day.
No, I don't think one can quantify in terms of how many crores would it mean. But what it reflects is basically the people who are paying for it from the corporate sector who travel by first class and by premium classes, they tend to have a feeling that why should I be paying when the person sitting by my side has paid a pittance as compared to what he has paid. And that was the basic rationale when Air India board took a very conscious decision in 2007 that we must not allow employees to be traveling by first class so that we can attract business from the corporate sector. Now, this decision of the government flies straight in the face of what happened earlier. Now, naturally, with employees who had foregone would certainly say, why should I forego if somebody else is going to be traveling on the same basis by first class? In fact, as a matter of, one looks at it, while Air India employees who have served the company for 30 years, 35 years, are entitled to no more than 4 tickets in a whole year, in this case, the upgrades would be for a far larger number of people. Now, these are kind of decisions or issues that will have to be looked at, how good it is, and when Air India board takes a call on it, perhaps they would be in a position to decide how much it is in the interest of the airline.
All right, Mr. Bhargav, thanks very much for giving us your perspective there. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Tuba.com